comes to a game like a derby, it's a game where you need to really focus because you wouldn't hear the other teammates giving you information. So I think it's a game where it tests your individual brilliance and it's a game where it tells us that we can work as a team because there's going to be mistakes. It's a game of football. So I could say that it's a game of where we have to be united as a team and fight for it.
All right, talent but calling for unity within the team. But Orlando Pirates goalkeeper Sipho Chain has shared words of wisdom, though, about his rise after starting down the pecking order. And he's also shared his thoughts, though, on the weekend derby.
For myself, it's not for me to to come here and say what other teams have improved on and what have they done. I think coming into this weekend, we came here like we come here every day to prepare for a game. We prepared for Richards Bay last week, and it's no different to preparing for Kaizer Chiefs this weekend. No, it's a big game, but our sole focus is just coming here and work and get better. I think for us, I know this is football. Every player wants to play. Every football player comes to training to come and represent the club. And I know it's not an easy position for somebody else not to play so consistently. And I've also found myself in that position. But I think it's the most important thing for us as the goalkeeping department with Sia, with Zulu, with Ethan. For us, it's just to keep improving ourselves as goalkeepers of Orlando Pirates. Just for us to stick together. I think his win is my win and my win is his win.
All right, words of wisdom and coming through from Sipho Chain. I love the confidence coming through from the players. What about Dion Hotter? I mean, Orlando Pirates' big superstar has expressed confidence, though, ahead of the upcoming Soweto derby, emphasizing, though, that the timing of the match is ideal for the team.
No, the preparation is going well, and nothing's going to change. We'll just be doing what we normally do before we play, before the weekend, and it's not something different that we are actually gonna be doing. Just stick to what's helping us up to now. The team is still rebuilding and they are winning, losing, drawing. But Saturday it's gonna be a different ball game. It's a derby. It doesn't matter what your opponent is going through, but a derby is a derby. Everyone is switched on, to be honest. So it's gonna be a very intense game. It's not gonna be an easy one. No, to be honest with you, it's our main focus is not about trying to see the losses, the wins that they've picked up. For us, it's the big issue is every game for us now. It's like a final. That's a thing. So we are prepared and ready for Saturday. And as I said, it's not going to be an easy one. We'll have to dig deep to get those 3 points because they brought in 3 new faces also, so we still need to, our technical staff still need to dig deep and see how those guys moves and all that.
Well, like I say, it is confidence. It's confidence all the way. In a second, I introduce to you my guest.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Season that's a lovely pass to Lay. There's a super goal. Left-footed finish. Pirates are back.
Tikang Mabalan is my guest. Derek Spencer is also here in studio. Having Kevin Johnson come through, do a rescue mission. Just put yourself in the era that you were playing in and what you were seeing in front of you, what it meant to don that Orlando Pirates jersey.
I never understood when they said your life will change when I signed the contract, by the way.
Yes.
For Orlando Pirates.
It's an amazing experience, Rob. Just walking out of the dressing room.
Yeah.
Then you realize.
So you confirming that there's a whole...
Yeah.
So they smelling of Muti, not you.
Then you realize, no, this is a war.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
A young Buccaneer. I don't even know how to begin to call him, but yeah, certainly was back then a very, very young Buccaneer. And I tell you what, in the digital media times that we love, It's been really, really refreshing seeing the evolution of this legend of the game on our social media platforms. I mean, packed with insane humor, in-depth analysis, stats, you name it. What I can tell you is that he has incredible knowledge of this beautiful game and is certainly pulling our heartstrings with memories that we didn't even know existed. I mean, not only does he reflect on his journey where he's done it all, but the chats though with former teammates as well as mentors in conversations that we didn't even know we needed. It's been a breath of fresh air as far as sports podcasting is concerned. And man, a very stern, reliable workaholic this gentleman was on the field. I mean, he held his own though from way back then. I think he had very scruffy, blonde looking hair. He was a hopeful at the Orlando Pirates Academy to certainly owning the engine at our Supersport United, Orlando Pirates, and many other top-flight clubs that he did play for. The evergreen, the ever-versatile Michael Morton is here in studio. Sir, good evening. Welcome.
Sure, Rob. Thank you so much. That was an incredible intro. Thank you so much.
Standing ovation from everybody here, hey? How was the flight from Cape Town?
Yeah, short, eh? Compared to all my travels I've done in the NFT over the years, Rob, that was a walk in the park, eh? Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I was shocked. I'm going to start with the shock. You, Cape Town Spurs divorce. You were not even complete with that contract. What happened?
Yeah, Rob, that one, yeah, look, it was just, I think it was time.
Yeah.
Myself and Ernst, I just think we stopped seeing eye to eye a while ago. And yeah, I just struggled with the change of, the club was just maybe changing their mindset in terms of, I mean, we were going to games and looking to steal a point away on the road to new teams in the NFD and whatever, and I just grew quite frustrated. I didn't feel like the club was on the right path in terms of what we're trying to achieve. I just struggled maybe mentally to adapt to that mindset of not trying to win every game, and we're setting up quite defensively, and I was just struggling with that, and myself and the coach weren't seeing eye to eye. I love the club to death. I think
sure
that did amazing things for me, and that promotion season was probably one of the best memories I've had in my career. Overcoming the NFT and getting through the playoffs is one of the most special memories I'll ever have, and I can't say enough about the club and Sean Bartlett and everything that they did. For me, it was amazing, and even allowing me to start my media journey at Cape Town Spurs. Not many clubs that would allow footballers to get into content and start to shoot content while they're playing. Like, I can't say enough about the environment there and the people there, but you know, it was the end of the road, I suppose.
But I know the temperament of an Ernest Middendorp, and I can imagine as well the temperament of a Michael Morton. So if you're disagreeing, are you disagreeing on what? Just fundamental basics? Is it ideology? Is it the approach? What is it, would you say, and summarize?
Yeah, so I mean, it sort of got to a point where, I mean, there was building up to one of the last games that I played for them. The whole week I was sort of saying to the team, we need to play more football. We need to take more risks. We need to play out from the back. And the coach eventually pulled me towards the end of the week and he said, look, Mark, like, I agree with you, but we don't have the quality in the squad right now. And I just couldn't accept that. I felt like there's a lot of young talent there. There's a lot of players that have a lot of ability. And when you're already starting to tell people we don't have enough quality to do that, then they start to believe in that. And I didn't believe that. And I think he started to say that I had too much influence in the dressing room. And look, Robbie, they probably were right. Like, maybe they made the right decision to actually cut ties, because I was maybe getting to the point where I was saying to the guys, look, we can't keep playing this way. And I think the fans that watch our games will acknowledge the fact that we don't create a lot of chances. And we were really battling. And I mean, we were going into games and really struggling. And for a club of that profile, I mean, we're in the PSL last season.
I know. And I looked at the log just before we got on there and I was like, I can't believe that is Cape Town Spurs.
You look at that squad, you're looking at Nazir Ali, Dalen Klaassen, Sidat. I mean, these are all PSL players, PSL quality players. I couldn't accept going into games without the winning mentality. So it was just, I suppose, we just disagreed on a couple of things, and I think it was probably the best thing that we parted ways.
Because from a footballing sense, it made no sense. It makes no sense to me because, I mean, I went through your stats. You made your 18 appearances for the team. And for me, you started in 14. You came on as a sub on 4 occasions. That is consistency. Not too many players get that percentage of starts or percentage of play in the modern game.
Yeah, no, look, physically, I still feel good, Rob. I mean, that's the thing. My body hasn't really faded at all. I've been quite fortunate from that point of view. But yeah, it was we just started to disagree on a lot of things, and I think I played on the Saturday, and literally on the Monday, I was agreeing terms to terminate my contract. That's as quickly as it happened. I played a full game on the Saturday. On the Monday, I was called in, and I think the words that Ernst used was like too much of an alpha male in the dressing room, which I didn't realize was a negative thing. But
Jeez.
Yeah, look, as I said, maybe I was influencing playing style, which coaches never want to hear. And yeah, so probably the right decision from the club if I look back.
I don't argue too much on the thing, because you say you agreed on the termination of the contract. There was still 7 months left of it. But at times, individuals get drawn in. So if you got that level of influence and they can bring you in as an experienced veteran of the team to say, how can we positively use your influence so that you can drive the message and understand it from a coaching perspective through to Michael Morton's driven perspective, and then down to the players who may be lacking self-confidence?
Yeah, Rob, I mean, if we just have to look at the history over the last, since maybe Ernst took over, there was obviously a conflict between a lot of the leaders in the squad. We had Clayton, obviously, that eventually ended up leaving early, Keegan Buchanan, surprised Rolani. So when you see faces like that leave the club under similar circumstances, you almost look at it and think like the writing's on the wall at some point, that maybe that was not the direction that the coach wanted, that maybe didn't want those influential minds in the dressing room, and he wanted to take a younger approach, and you've got to accept that. I mean, I look back to Ernst coached me at Maritzburg United when I was 21, 22, made me captain. I got a lot to be thankful for, but we just started to disagree on too much the latter years of my career. So it is what it is.
No, I fully understand as well, because you talk about Maritzburg United and you talk about your time that you spent over there. Not too many kids, because then you were a kid of 23 years old. They give you the captain's armband and they say, lead the charge. You must equally be disappointed, because maybe part of your psyche is, I don't want to see what happens to Spurs is exactly what happened to Maritzburg United, who's had to change their name to Durban City, who've had to really lose their identity in the bigger scheme, because we identify you with Maritzburg United, but you look for Maritzburg United now, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, it's sad, Rob. I mean, when I'm just thinking about, I've got young kids now, and I'm going to say to them, oh, look, these are the teams I played for in my career. I played for Bidvest Wits. They're going to say, who's that?
Gone.
I say I played for Maritzburg United. Who's that?
Gone.
Yeah, so like at what point, I mean, Amazulu is not even the original Amazulu. So it's like, yeah, Rob, I mean, at what point 10 years from now am I going to say I played for every club that I hopefully, I'm not going to talk about Orlando Pirates, but I mean, Super Sport, there's been word on the street, like, I mean, is every single team that I've ever played for going to change names at some point? Like, we just hope that's
and disappear. I think it's a disappearing game, that is. I mean, we spoke earlier with Gavin Hunt, someone that you would know very, very well. And he's had to face that. He's had to face it with Swallows. He's had to face Swallows disappearing off the face of the earth. And he's the one coach that put Swallows in the top 8 in the modern era for the very first time. He's the one coach that won them the Absa Cup as well for the very first time. And the team is gone. In the same way, 99-year-old Bidvest Wits gone. And, Gavin was there. So what then happens with the balance of things? Let's say you're still in playing mode and there was this balance of 7 months that was left with Cape Town Spurs. Are you going to be signing up with the team at least for the rest of the season?
Not as it stands, Rob. I mean, yeah, I think my family's very relieved. I mean, my wife has been incredible. We've got young kids who just got into new schools and everything, and they've jumped around the whole country for me for the last 18, 19 years, and I think it's time that I focus on them. And the reality is there's no NFD teams in Cape Town besides Cape Town Spurs, and then there's just a couple in the PSL, and maybe that era of my life is over. So yeah, Rob, I'm not.
Are you silently trying to retire here on the show? I mean, I hear you, but I'm just hearing you.
Yeah, look, I haven't officially retired, but there's a lot going on. Obviously, doing a lot of work in social media now, working quite hard on Soccer Beat, one of our new platforms that we're working on. So there's a lot going on in my life to the point where I'm feeling quite comfortable with the fact that there's a good chance it could be done.
Michael Morton, are you trying to retire live on radio?
It's probably not a bad place to do it, Rob? Look, there's nothing else on the table, and I'm quite happy with what I've achieved in my career so far. So, not officially, but unofficially retired, probably.
Okay, all right, guys. On the 31st of Jan, at this particular juncture of the show, there was an aim towards retirement of a certain Michael Morton. Give us your thoughts, guys. I think he's still got football in him. I know that, his wife Liz is listening right now. The twins are old enough to hear this show right now, and they're probably just jumping up and down and celebrating, eh?
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
179th edition of the Soweto Derby. These are our super duper ultra fans.
Robert, we love you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. From Mutogwa Limpopo.
Yes.
The Derby peace from Mutogwa. you know how much I spent to come here?
How much?
900.
I love Orlando Pirates with all my heart. I don't even mind not paying rent to just go to the stadium. As long as I'm gonna see the boys playing, then I'm fine.
Sure.
Some days I don't even eat if they lose.
Marawa Sports Worldwide. Monday to Friday weekdays. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
My tribute to Michael Morton, which I gave him the nickname The Machine. In the world of football where talent and teamwork intertwine, a few players embody the essence of dedication, hard working like Michael Morton. It is with immense pride that I reflect on the time we spent on the pitch together at Maritzburg United, a partnership that transformed the game for both of us. Michael, you were more than just a top fielder player. You were the engine that drove our team forward. Your physicality and strength were unmatched, always winning those crucial tackles and doing the dirty work that is often overlooked. You made it your mission to reclaim possession, allowing me the freedom to create attacking opportunities. I couldn't have asked for a better midfield player teammate. While I fancied myself the steering wheel of the team, you navigated our way through defenses. You were the powerhouse propelling us forward with energy. It's no exaggeration to say that you made my job easy. With you by my side, I knew I could take risks and explore creative plays, confident that you would always be there to support and cover. Your stamina was nothing short of legendary. The way this guy could run and play for 90 minutes non-stop without missing a beat earned you the nickname The Machine. It was a fitting title. You approach every match with the same intensity and passion, inspiring those around you to evaluate their own performance. Playing alongside you was an honor, Michael Morton. Your contributions on the field went beyond statistics. They shaped our victories and forged unforgettable memories. Thank you for being the incredible player you are and for making every moment we shared on the pitch a joy. Yes, to you, The Machine. May your legacy continue to inspire future generations of footballers.
You know exactly who that is.
Darren Buckley.
Darren Buckley.
Yeah.
The Bundesliga legend, the Bafana legend, eh? Whew, what words.
Yeah, how do you do that to me, Rob? Yeah, that's incredible. Like when he first signed for Maritzburg United, I thought it was impossible this guy's playing firstly back in South Africa and secondly here with me at Maritzburg United. The fact that I captained somebody who's played for Borussia Dortmund, one of the top goal scorers in the Bundesliga, Like, it's one of the things that I hold highest in my career. And one of the most enjoyable experiences of my career was playing behind Darren. And yeah, we used to say, like, I'm the engine and he was the steering wheel. And when he arrived, I think he won 7 man of the matches back to back in his first 7 games. I think we beat Sundowns 3-0 away at Lucas. And he was just, it was unbelievable. His body started to fail him, but the brain was just incredible. And yeah, one of my favorite teammates, and I actually can't believe those words. That will stay with me for a long time.
You know what? Those are well thought out words, and I think I could hear from the way he was saying and putting things. You know, he makes the analogy with wine. He talks about you having made his job easy. He talks about you providing the support and the cover. And then he calls you the machine. A machine that is a fitting tribute to you and a fitting title for a fit player. Because that is why you're the machine. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Darren Buckley, thank you. Thank you very, very much indeed for those kind words. And as I said, please do reach out. 011-888-947. Hulu Falang joins us from Naturina to talk to Michael Morton. Hulu Falang, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Rob. How are you doing?
Very, very good. I'm just blessed, man. This man is here for the very first time in studio. I've always wanted to have a one-on-one with him. So here we are today dealing with his semi-retirement, dealing with his leaving Spurs, dealing with the game over the weekend with the Soweto derby, and dealing with so much, including what Darren Buckley has said. What question do you have for the legend?
To Mr. Michael Morton, I feel, just before I get into my question, I don't think the impact that this man has on the pitch for the team that he's played for, especially for Pirates, gets spoken of a lot. What a great, great player he's been. And off late, I love the videos that he puts up on Instagram. I just have one question. Given all the teams that he's played for, given all the matches that he's played for, which is the one moment where he says, you know what, this moment is going to live rent-free in my mind forever. I'll tell my kids and my grandkids of this moment that has happened in my playing career, which is that one moment.
Olufalang, appreciate it. I'll ask you to listen on the radio. Michael, is there such?
For sure, Rob. If I have to look back at the one game that really I remember and value highly amongst all the rest of the memories was the first ever game at Soccer City. I don't know if people will remember, but we did a sort of curtain raiser to the 2010 World Cup, the Nedbank Cup final. But Westfits against Amazulu, I was still a young kid. I was 20. I was still on loan from Orlando Pirates. Roger De Saar, the coach, Eric Tinkler, the assistant coach. We had, I think it was Sfiso Mieni, Patrick Pungwayo, incredible team, and we won that final against Amazulu, and I was man of the match. So it's like my little claim to fame, like first ever man of the match at Soccer City. It was Salat. My late father was there. I think I had like all my schoolmates. It was special. So that was probably the one.
All right, a very special moment. Ulufalang, good question. Thank you very much indeed for that one. A memory for the ages.
Good evening, Michael. It's Quinton Jetu here. Just want to say for your professionalism throughout your time at Maritzburg United, your work ethic was unmatched. And I always said to people that if I had 11 Michael Mortons to go on the field, I would be happy because your commitment and your desire to football and to your game was unmatched. I just want to take this opportunity to say well done and wish you all the best in everything that you are doing in your career, in your way forward in life, and hope that everything goes well. But it's just amazing to be able to be given the opportunity to say something about you. But if I have to be honest, there was never a better professional than you were. All the best and good luck going forward in your life. Cheers, Mike.
Sure, Quinton Jeto. Cuts deep, eh? No better professional that he's ever worked with than you.
Yeah. Look, Rob, I mean, the Maritzburg United was some of the best times of my career. I went there actually, when I arrived at Maritzburg, I actually didn't want to be there, to be honest, Rob. It happened in a swap deal with Rudolf Bester, where I desperately wanted to stay at Orlando Pirates and try my luck to stay. But we eventually decided that I would head off to Maritzburg and Rudolf Bester would come to Pirates.
Why were you reluctant, though? What was the reluctance about Maritzburg?
They were struggling at the time. Yeah. Firstly, relegation candidates. the only thing that convinced me to go was Ian Palmer was there, and he had been at Pirates when I was there. So we had that relationship, and he sort of convinced me, Mark, it'll be good for your career. And looking back, it's probably the defining moment of my career. I went there. We got the club back into, I think when I ended up leaving, Steve Compella had one of the best league finishes. We finished in the top 8, and like we basically turned that club around and put it in the right trajectory. I mean, by the time I left, we had such a great squad. It was Robin Johannes, Dylan Shepherd, Darren Buckley. It was a great football club, and there's literally nothing better than Friday nights at Harry Gwala.
Oh, tell me about
that.
It
was beautiful, and living in the town, we met amazing friends. It was some of the best memories I had on a football field, and it was a special club.
Yeah, I suppose that demise is the one thing that everybody talks about right now, though. But with Royal AM and us not being sure about what's going to happen with them, and the possibility of roles being reversed, that is still pretty much something we don't know conclusively as well. Because if you go to Harry Gwala Stadium right now, it's obviously been transformed. Everything, all the branding is Royal AM. It's a black and gold and so on, and that's a far cry. With all the memories that we spoke about. It almost disappears. But do you have a feeling somewhere deep down inside that if this so-called Durban City continues the way they do, that we could see a revival of a Maritzburg United?
I'd love to see it. It was the municipality in Maritzburg. I don't know. They obviously jumped behind Royal AM when they had Maritzburg on their doorstep, which was a strange one. Maybe if they got the financial backing from the municipality,
it would be a different story.
100%. So, look, they're doing very well in the NFD. They've built a nice squad. And, there's still a long way to go, but they're in the mix. And I hope for football's sake, we get Maritzburg United back.
Because at Pirates then, I want to bring the perspective of the reluctance about Pierre Maritzburg was that it was also what then do you do at Orlando Pirates? Because that squad, that Rudy Kroll team, was becoming a very difficult thing to break into. And the more they got into rhythm, the more that pink shirt started to win games. And for you, what were you feeling deep down inside when you looked at the reality of what was surrounding you?
Rob, I mean, that was a treble-winning team. They were dominating South African football. That was probably the last time Orlando Pirates was really dominant in South African football before Sundowns absolutely took over. And I just looked at that midfield and I thought, there's no way I'm going to get in here. I mean, I wasn't just me, like Opa and Manisa was sitting in front of me in the queue, and I was thinking, well, if Opa can't play, then I'm definitely not going to play.
Yeah.
And
give us a sense, who was ahead of you at the time?
So I think Benson was even playing in the middle at that time. And the one thing with Ruud Krol is that treble winning season, I think he used like 15 or 16 players. So even the guys on the outskirts, I mean, Tico was there still, obviously before they won the treble, but those were the type of names that were in the midfield. And he just never rotated a lot. So even if you were felt like you were close to this, or even making the 18, you weren't playing regularly.
The closer you got, the further you became.
Yeah, and you can't complain. I mean, this team was dominating. So you can't even be upset that you're not playing. And so I was probably just upset that I never got to play for Orlando Pirates. Like, I was an Orlando Pirates supporter. I'm an Orlando Pirates supporter. I grew up in the academy, and I desperately wanted to play for the first team. But eventually you have to look at your career and say, where's this going to end up if I don't play? And so I had to make the move.
I mean, you talk about Benson Mhlongo. He didn't harbor any ill feeling towards you. In fact, he loved you from top to bottom.
Evening, Mr. Marawa, and evening to the legend, Michael Morton. What a young man. This is Benson Mhlongo. I had a privilege to play with him at Orlando Pirates. He came as a youngster, but today I'm proud to say he's a man that achieved a lot. Mr. Morton, I wish you all the best in life, and may you please impart your knowledge to the young boys. Teach them how to persevere, teach them how not to give up, and please, don't change. You were a challenge to me. As young as you were, but you gave me a tough time. You competed with me at training, and it was so wonderful to see you doing well in football. May God bless you.
Sure. Benson Mhlongo. When you talk about a leader, you talk about a stern-faced man, but a very good human being. You talk about Benson.
I can't believe Benson just called me a legend. That's the first thing. Yeah, Smiley, that's a true legend. I mean, he was obviously Lucky Lekhwati was the captain, and then you brought in another personality like Benson. And could there be better people to learn from as a youngster when you just breaking through into the first team? I mean, I just remember Owen was there when I first arrived, and we used to do laps around the field, and there was Benson like leading the charge, and he was just an absolute machine, and just the aura he used to carry. Between Lucky and Benson, you just had massive personalities and leaders. So all these skills and things I picked up from these amazing guys. So I was very fortunate.
All right. So the stories that have circulated about ODG and his love for running and lapping is not fairy tale stories.
I was only there at the sort of the tail end of his stint, but yeah, we used to warm up with like 8 laps. Which it maybe suited me because I was coming in there and I could run, and I was like, well, there's my chance to show off a little bit. So there was me and Klose Kholela in the front, the marathon runners in the front. It was my time to shine. But it was definitely tough. But we had a lot of players at that stage, so you could definitely hide in the pack there. We had about 40 odd players, so it was tough times.
Michael Morton, my guest here tonight. It is hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide as we look ahead now to the Soweto Derby. He, as he says, has been a part and parcel of Orlando Pirates from a very, very young age, strongly associated with the team, even as young as 16 years old. But you were there from a much younger age. How old were you? About 9?
I was 12.
12 years old. But what was the bigger dream, though? Because you'd been at Randburg before, then somebody spotted you, I don't know who, but then you ended up being part and parcel of Orlando Pirates, the academy and all that?
Yeah. So I was playing for Randburg, and I made the provincial team, and the assistant coach was Godfrey Malumbule, and he said to me, Mark, come. He actually said to a lot of the boys, and there's a lot of white guys there in that team, and he said, hey, come to Orlando Pirates. And I was the only one who took them up on that offer. I was like, you said Orlando Pirates? Like, my dad had been taking me to Orlando Pirates games since I was a young child. Like, he was a Pirates supporter. I was like, if they just invited me to Orlando Pirates. So I jumped, and for the next 7 years, my mom drove me every single day to training at Arthur Block Park in Mayfair. And I played for the academy for 7 years before breaking into the first team. It was like a dream come true.
That is crazy, though. But did you find it strange that the other kids, especially, like you say, the white boys, they frowned upon the idea because of what?
I don't know if it was frowned upon the idea, Rob, but it's just inconvenient. I was like, they didn't want to. And also we all go to high school, and then rugby and cricket and.
Oh, so the other sporting codes then.
Yeah, and they're going to the Model C white schools where they're not going to continue to play football. I mean, there were white players that were more talented than me when I was that age. But
how do they get lost in the system, though? Because you find that, and I think it's a debate for another day, though. But you find schools that strictly till today they don't play football.
Yeah,
they'll play any and every other sport, but they don't play football.
Yeah, we're seeing a shift now, apparently. I mean, I'm not so close to the ground that I know what's going on, but I mean, my high school, Parktown Boys, it's produced players like, Gareth Devine went there, Bradley Cornell went there, Lyle Foster went there. I think the new right back at Pirates, Monyane, was there. Like, this is a school that produced probably some of the most PSL footballers you'll get in the country, but at the time we never played football. So it's like,
but what was it? Was it about trying to preserve the prestige of what happened before with the cricket and the rugby, that football might just swallow and dominate?
Yeah, possibly. We often used to fight with all the kids. Would be like, hey, give us football, so they'd like let you play in the third term a little bit, the shortest term of the year, and it was just never really a priority. And I hear things are shifting, and I hear there is a shift, and with varsity football, it's also another great vehicle. So I'm hoping there is a shift.
Well, I hope there is, though, because I just think that South Africa would have been so well bolstered football-wise if that opportunity had been presented. I always say to the guys, especially when people come up with nonsensical debates and say, yeah, but where are the white kids in Bafana? We're like, yeah, okay, who lifted the trophy back in 1996? It was a Neil Tovey, we had an Eric Tinkler, etc. I can go on, and there's never a need to go down that path. But for me, this is more directed at the schools that shut the door in terms of this talent and the frustration that creeps up. And you find kids who could be as talented, could find national team colors, but they don't. Because why? The schools don't allow all of that to happen. Still so many more tributes that are coming through, pouring in. Send us your WhatsApp voice notes and also give us your thoughts ahead of the big derby coming up over the weekend.
Hashtag MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. Hashtag MSW. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Kaiser Chiefs have the lead. My word, that's got to be one of the great derby goals of all time.
Injabulo Bloom, when he arrived in his apartment, kati emsarisha ama-pockets akhe, and he found usaling kwiphakethe laka left and he found uNdlondlo kwiphakethe laka right. Angazi noma busuzwile in Prorop. Baphela abantu intuku.
madoda uthi wenzenjani ekade bekhala abantu kodwa bethi uNdlondlo ubengekho usalenga ubengekho bebemgcwalise phakathi ngimtshelileke nginthimisela ukuthi Soweto derby izokulethela imanga.
Now Mark's going for glory. Has he got it? That's magnificent. That is magnificent.
Coming for that #1 spot. All right.
Marawa Sports Worldwide. Monday to Friday weekdays. Friday nights. Always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
The final stretch with Michael Morton. You what now, 35, 36?
Yeah, I'll be 36 in a couple months, Aaron.
Hey.
Yeah, getting on.
That's a good innings, man. That's a good innings. It's a football player. A true professional of the game. He's our legend here tonight. Hashtag MSW. Can also catch the comments and the thoughts on the YouTube channel. We are driving that live as we speak right now. Here are more tributes from people that shared a change room with him.
Evening, Robert. It's Lebohang Cheese Boy Mokwena, the real mozzarella. Mamela, Robbie, you got a legend right there. I mean, a Orlando Pirates product. You know, I remember meeting Mikey in our youth days at Mayfair facility with Augusto Palacios. You know, I've always admired him as a hard worker, you know, somebody that was so dedicated, disciplined towards the game. You know, he's got so much knowledge about the game, and he's proceeded to be that, you know, as you see him with me at Soccer Beat. You know, we're doing wonders, and I want to wish Mikey all the best, man. You know, he must just keep his humble spirit, the respect that he's always shown, you know, and it just shows the longevity that he's had in his professional career. And I'm just sending out my love to you, my boy. You know, I got so much love for you. Mikey, the guy they called Duracell. In the first derby, you know what they used to call him? McFish. Up until we called him Duracell. One love, Mikey.
Hey, Duracell. I suppose there's no guessing why, though, hey? You pump it up like those Duracell bunnies and you never stop.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah, that was lucky. If you don't have a lot of talent, then you just got to work, guys. So that's yeah, there was just the engine. That was it.
Oh, cheese boy Bukwena. I think when you hear those words, that it takes you back to the Mayfair days. It takes you back to the Augusto Palacios influence as well. Are these starry-eyed kids that had this bright future ahead of them, and they had to listen to a gentleman who's had Peruvian experience for so many years, and maybe you didn't even hear what the hell he was saying, but you were in awe of what lies ahead.
Sure, no, we sometimes, I used to be the translator for some of the guys after he used to talk, because I could get a few more words out of it than they did. But yeah, he was a legend, and he was the one when I first went to Pirates, and I wasn't really sure which direction my life was going to go. Could I be a professional footballer? I wasn't sure. He was the one who kept saying, you'll be in the first team by the time you're 18. You'll be in the first team by the time you're 18. And he pushed, and I think he was one of the driving forces behind me getting into that Pirates first team. I think there were times when I'd maybe turned up at training there and they were saying, what are you doing here? And he was just saying to me, you're going to go there. I'm telling them you're going to the first team. And so he pushed so hard for my progress through the youth ranks.
375 matches played at the professional ranks, though, talking about Michael Morton. Was it just 7 goals? Are you able to name those 7 goals who you scored against?
Sure, yeah. It's enough to just Yeah, my wife, there was a running joke early on in my career because I don't think I scored until I eventually got to Maritzburg about 4 or 5 years after. And so I said, no, I'll propose to you when I score my first goal. So I think that's why I waited so long, as I wasn't ready to get married. So I just kept on delaying the first goal. And then eventually at Maritzburg against Ajax Cape Town, we got a penalty and I went and I picked it up. I thought, this is now 5-6 years without a goal. And I took the pen and then I scored. And then I was engaged a couple months later.
Oh, I see. So there's the story, Liz. There is the story. And probably that's the double curse, though, because you scored that goal against Ajax Cape Town, who again do not exist.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Sure.
Yeah. Our history, it's just going to be, it's muddy, the history of South African football.
Let's drop it right there. That was a beautiful Foppa Dahan project. There were too many good things that were going on in that particular time and in that particular era. But I want to take you back, though, because, we've had legends here who we have spoken to, and we all agreed that maybe a little bit more Bafana exposure or more Bafana caps would have sealed their careers. And I know that he had, 4 caps for the national team. I think Shakes Mashaba, who knew you more than most, was the one person for the Chan game that had called you up as well for your debut. And when you played against Angola, and the irony again is that we got Angola in this group stage of the Africa Cup of Nations. But just take me back, though, to your thoughts around Bafana.
Yeah, Rob, representing, I played all the junior levels throughout, and it was such an incredible experience. Sarami was actually probably the one who gave me my first national team proper experience. He started getting that group together, the under-20s. It was an incredible group of players. We had Makoto, Jali, George Maluleka, Rama, Tyson. That was probably one of our strongest generations. A lot of those guys are still playing. It's incredible. That generation has just gone on and on and on. Qualified for the AFCON and then the World Cup. So Rami, that generation of footballers, that was probably my fondest memories of wearing a South African football jersey. Obviously, to finally taste, I don't even know if we classified as a full Bafana cap, but it was in the Chan qualifiers. Sure. And it's playing for your country.
It's playing for your country. I think Chan is organized and created and is under the stewardship of CAF. So it is recognized as national team duty. So whichever way you look at it, you represented your country, and that's all that really matters. And you talk about Mukocho. Mukocho, I remember him again as a kid when I interviewed him and he came through playing in the Danon tournament. You were part of that?
I was the year. It was actually a strange situation. Yeah. So it was the trade center happened, the disaster happened the year I was supposed to go as an under 12. So they delayed ours to the following year. So we actually went as the under 13 and under 12 together, 2 teams together. He was the captain of the under 12s and I was the under 13s.
That is impossible. So you didn't get to see Zinedine Zidane?
No.
Oh, man.
Hi, Mikey. Munibia, a.k.a. Whiskers. Yes, I'm so glad, Mikey. You know what? You finally get the recognition, and from the ultimate football person, most knowledgeable football person in our country, Mr. Robert Marawa. Finally, you're getting the recognition you deserve. One of those players in the team who does all the dirty work, hardest working player on and off the field. If Mikey could, he would run from training home. That's how hard working he was. Oh, mind you, sorry, that is just, he does that as a hobby. He runs as a hobby. But Mikey, I'm so glad Bra Rob has you on the show tonight. Because, it's always the hard workers that go unnoticed. And in every team that you've played, you've kept that same discipline, that same focus, that same camaraderie that you brought to the team as well, by just showing your actions. You were a man of little words, but you were a man of action. And it was such an honor and a privilege for me to play with you. And I'm so glad once again. Thank you, Bra Rob, for bringing light to players like Michael Morton, a.k.a. Duracell. They say they call him Duracell because he runs a lot. I don't think so. I think just he's the heart, the engine of every team that he's been involved in. And he's just such a amazing character. And I wish you everything of the best in your future. And I'm sure what you've done on the field, the same discipline you'll have off the field and the same motivation. It was such an honor playing with you, Mikey. Let's do our thing on the screen now, brother.
Oh, Manif Joseph, thank you so much indeed. Your response to that, it says a man of few words, but a Duracell nonetheless.
Yeah, slim cut. One of the best people to share a dressing room with, Rob. Honestly, my stomach would hurt some days just laughing with Munib. Those are some of the best memories I have in a football dressing room. He was with me when I broke into the first team. He was, when I played my first derby, he was the goalkeeper, and he guided me through a lot of the toughest situations I handled in the derby. So I was very lucky that Munib was there. And then he joined me at Amazulu as well. We spent a lot of time building that relationship even more. And one of the funniest and most entertaining individuals you'll ever meet. And just gold there.
Oh, Manif Joseph, slim cat, thank you very, very much indeed. Very briefly, we're out of time. Who's winning the derby tomorrow?
Bucks.
By?
2-0.
Bucks by 2-0. So you know that you've just said Bucks, but you've given a chief sign. Bucks by 2-0. We're going to be hearing more from Michael Morton. I can tell you that he's moved into an exciting space on the social media front. Stuff that going forward I want to tap into and find out what his experience is like. So he emphatically says 2-0. Chiefs, maybe they'll score, but not on the field, not on the day. You're going to be at the game, I'm sure. We'll see you there.
I'll be there, Rob. Yeah.
On the pitch, though.
No, in the crowd. I'm going to experience it as a fan. I've experienced as a player, extra strong in the Ghost. I'm going to be there singing. Let's go.
Okay, look out for Michael Morton. Is going to be in the extra strong. He's chosen not to go and eat, sushi and prawns there in the suites at the FNB Stadium. Hey, there is your prediction. Catch you again on Monday for Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW live now on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.